Oh, howdy everybody. Brian, Indiana Creek Gold. Got the pups down over the hill. Sort of a test run with Aspen. She got up by the road last time I got her down here. But we are on the search for the elusive Morel mushroom. Daughter told me that neighbor up the road here found a mess right behind his house, and he lives half a mile down the road. So figured we'd check out. Of course, she lives 40 minutes away, so how she knows about that I don't, but probably the miracle of social media. But we didn't have any mushrooms down here last year. Walnut trees, something about walnut trees and the acidity, a lot of stuff don't like to grow around them. But we have found some years prior. Of course, we hadn't had any turkeys here in the spring. Any toms running around for a couple years now, and they're back this year. Had 4 walk right underneath the bedroom window down the driveway that goes back to the neighbors 3 days ago, and I just had another tom walk up the driveway and across the road a little bit ago. That might be the best hunting blind of the year, just sitting in my bedroom window with the dogs, because they always see them first and growl. So come on, Aspen, down here. All right, let me get the dog corralled. Come on, Aspen. All right, she's got doggy ADHD. She's a puppy, and this is all new to her down here. So trying to keep them close. But like I said, we didn't find any morels down here last year. And this is the very first place that we ever found any on our property, is right here around these red elms. And down around through here, up around that stump. There's usually some. But when we do find them, it seems like it's later in the year every year. And it's, I guess turkey season's starting in a couple days, so last part of the 3rd week of April, thereabouts. So, and they've been finding them elsewhere for a good while. But like I said, it's hit and miss down here for sure. So, all right, let me get these dogs moved off to another direction, and we'll come back in a little bit. All right, here's that big tree that the son and I worked a good long while getting down. I mean, last weekend it was hung up in like the smallest of those limbs right there. But it was a big old long thing, but it had broke off. Yeah, it broke off there. I thought it was taller than that. Or it might be a piece on the other side of that. But anyway, the bottom was sitting right here, laid up across the concrete, hanging by limbs smaller than my pinky, holding that whole tree. Wasn't really any good way to cut it safely. So crowbars, a big log, rope. We finally got the bottom pulled down clear against this tree, and it was still hanging up in that little bitty limb after we had drug it 6 foot down across that limb. It was crazy. And finally we pulled it around, got it to roll, and it went down, but that was ready to fall at any minute. And this is where we set up. I mean, this is our deal down here, so for prospecting. But it's also one of, mayaples are up right there. One of the places that we find mushrooms is here on the old roadbed from the old bridge. Let me get up here, I can show you a little better. But yeah, those tom turkeys that are hanging around, me and Cole walked up here to the bridge the other day, and was there at the bridge and had one gobbling up the creek. I assume it was because that next morning is when they all four came strolling down the driveway about 8 o'clock, 9 in the morning. So I assume it was probably one of them gobbling. Don't know. We've been getting those 4 on trail cam. If pictures are still on my phone, the latest ones, I think I might have some old ones. I'll pop them up on there. But, and then we got one big lone tom, 12-inch beard. The other one's got one about maybe 10 inches, 9-10 inches. Another one probably 5 or 6. Another a little smaller, and then a jake. It's a weird ass group. They usually don't hang around different age groups like that so much. Oh, right there, walnut. Looks like the top of a mushroom. But I seen gentleman prospector, and I don't know if Mama's Birds was with him or not. They were out. Today was the opening day of turkey season in Missouri, so they were going live from the blind. I said howdy and then hung out for a while. I don't know if you guys heard that, the crane taking off, our pterodactyl. Aspen, nope. I know that sounded cool, but nope, you stay here. I mean, those cranes are huge. They literally look like a pterodactyl, small version, and they make this god-awful, almost prehistoric noise when they take off. But we did the lotto bag drawing the other day. There were 2 folks that did not get bonuses, but they are actually getting a bonus. I'm throwing something else in with each one of their packages. I mean, Bobby in the basement had got a couple, and our brother, our Indiana Boys Prospecting Club brother, Brian Carson Prospecting, got into, and those are the only 2 folks that didn't hit a bonus. So we're gonna hook them up. I already got stuff picked out. So, but yeah, there's some bloodroot there. Let me get Aspen up here and find a digging tool, and I'll show y'all something. All right, nature/Native American history lesson here. I do believe this stuff's miner's lettuce. That's really good and edible, but don't freaking eat it, because I'm not for sure positive on that. But I do know that this, see that leaf right there, right here, is bloodroot. And Native American and pioneers type. And there's still obviously a commercial market for it, because you can sell these roots still. You can dig it, dry the roots, and sell them. See, there's a big patch of it right there. It's all over right here. But the use for it, like I said, and remind you, it's called bloodroot. Oh, I lost it. All right, we're gonna have to find another one. I was impatient. Let's go over here. But let's get a big one. They call it bloodroot because it has a red pigment in it. I should have done a little better digging stick here. The remnants of digging ginseng back in the day. There we go. Sort of non-conspicuous there, but you can see it starting to bleed through right there. But That is red pigment that the Indians, Native Americans, pioneers would, I'm gonna rub some on my finger here, sort of iodine looking. But yeah, use it to dye clothes or whatever else. Ain't that cool? Let's wander on over here to one of our other spots, see if there's anything. Look, this is Kitty. She thinks she's a dog. She goes everywhere with us. Goes in and out of the house with the dogs all the time too. It sort of makes the dogs jealous though, that the cat does this all the time. Aspen tries, but yeah. Hey, you can tell, can you tell a staging area down here? Look, there's gold pans laying by a random tree. There's our hose. Me and Cole was trying to turn that nozzle the other day, and he's twisted a little bit in there. Yeah, getting ready to get things going. Yep, along here, we usually find some, but I'm just thinking that it's a little too early still. Come on, Aspen. Oh, there you are. Come on, kitty. Come on, kitty. Let's go. She's gonna be a problem. We got our black cat, Gabby, which if you guys have followed my videos, she pops up randomly all the time. She'll find you anywhere on this 30 acres if you're deer hunting. She's gonna be bad. But actually, and several years ago, Megan was set up, I think right in here, and had a turkey coming through the pines, and Gabby, our cat, took off after and tried to grab the turkey, and it took off. But the other animals tend not to pay attention. I've seen her run at deer. They sort of jump and get away from her, but she don't exactly run them off, but she's sort of a bully. Chubby little smallest cat we got. Old mama cat. But yeah, I mean, we got dead ash trees all over the place. We got dead elms down here. Usually decent mushrooms. Not tons, you know, but we usually find enough to eat them a couple times. But last year was just a real weird year. But another dangerous tree there. Y'all cut trees at home. This tree, I mean, got a little bit of a lean to it, dead. You know, it's not gonna be easy to cut, but this right here, see that crack? Goes all the way pretty much to the ground. Goes all the way up that tree right there. So you notch this, if it don't bust apart when you notch it, when you start cutting this tree and it starts to flex just a little bit, starts to lean, that whole piece is going to blow out of there, probably push this piece straight back. This might stand, and like I said, if it does and splits up that way, it'll push the other piece back. But either way, just gotta, and that's deep crack. But cutting trees like that without paying attention will kill you, or make you wish you was dead for a while. Oh shit. So not paying attention to where you're walking. Yeah, big strikeout on the shrooms. Y'all see trail cam pictures all the time. One of the cameras is usually right there. When it sends pictures to the phone, that's what we usually have up around here. We got a couple of taste cards still, but mainly rely on the ones that send pictures to the phone. And it's up to house batteries are dead. So things ain't looking good on the mushrooms for supper. Not at all. The tree up here that, I mean, you go back last summer and I did a video. I dug a bunch of material out of this root wad out of this ancient ass tree that fell down a long time ago. And it's had a bunch of gold up in it because it had set on bedrock and then pulled up off that bedrock and had all the material there with it. Well, actually did pretty good. Oh. That hurt. A lot of times on this tree or around it, so usually a lot of times find all through here, but we find pheasantback mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, turkey tails, tree mushrooms basically, growing on these trees. But yeah, you can see in them roots, you can still see the rocks right there. There's all up inside there. There's a bunch more gold, I guarantee, inside those roots. But not seeing what we're looking for. Not even seeing any tree mushrooms. There's some here. And those look like maybe old pheasant backs. They're not great eating. Very edible. But new. Not looking good. But we tried. Aspen, what are you rolling in? What do dogs have to roll in? Nasty stuff. Hey! What the hell? Alright. Got one more spot we'll check up here. And then first mushroom hunting trip 2025 is probably going to be wrapping up with a 0 score. Bunch more of that bloodroot. No mushrooms. Alright, we'll come back. Alright, we got a bunch of pines that gray ones will grow under. A lot of times, yellow ones around. We got this big dead ash tree over here that fell last year. But I still don't see supper anywhere. There's the closest tree stand we have to the cabin. You can see said cabin. But 50 yards down to the opening of the fence, and plus they come through here all the time. They bed in here all the time, and it's really close and fast to get to. Yep, things ain't looking good. The cat. Come on, Aspen. All right, we're gonna pause it. All right, this is our last semblance of hope. I found black ones, gray ones, and yellow ones down through here along this fence line. But we would have already found some if they were up. It might be another mushroom-free year here at the cabin. You'll have that. We had it last year. But they usually grow all along this, right below the fence, right above the fence. Dead ash trees everywhere. Dead elms. But no fungus among us. Hi, kitty kitty. The critter's out for a walk in the woods. Primo spot. I guess only primo if what you're looking for is there though, right? Yeah, mushrooms might end up back this way after Wednesday, the opening day of turkey season. Boys are going elsewhere for that, I believe. Weird ass bone stuck straight down in the dirt. Sort of creepy. Nada. There's that tree stand. The cat, stealth mode. We tried. By golly. Crick's down just waiting for us to go get that gold. So, y'all take care. Well, I said, y'all that didn't win bonuses on the lotto bag are getting bonuses anyway. Those go out tomorrow. Brian Thomas Gold video probably coming Tuesday evening. Is what I'm shooting for. Y'all take care. Hope you had a nice Easter. And we'll catch you on the next one.